and welcome back, folks. What the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here. My voice is going to be a little strained today, but I am mostly better. I've had a cold for like the last week, which is why I haven't been making videos. I put that announcement up on the channel, so hopefully you all saw it. I wanted to revisit our corn challenge here, right? Which is where I set up this ridiculous scenario, the Skulls for the Throne scenario, essentially, where we put it on Legendary, we put it on very hard battle difficulty, we turned on all of the endgame scenarios, we made it to where those should have spawned in the last 20 turns, or in the first 20 turns, and basically we just wanted to find out, like, how insanely hard is it? Is it insanely hard? What do we think of the scenario, essentially? Was it, and then, I wanted to weigh in on whether it's fun. This is a few turns ahead of where you saw it last. I played a few more turns in to see if we would actually trigger the in-game scenario. The in-game scenario has still not triggered. So, odd, right? Strange. I don't know if you can see what the campaign settings were coming into it, but and I just wanted to spend this episode kind of recapping things. Obviously, I need to end a couple more turns and see if those in-game scenarios are going to trigger. But first, let's start answering some questions about it, which I think was one of the purposes here. Are scenarios like this fun? What is it like when you do it? And then just what was my experience, more or less, right? And this is 20 turns in. Let's answer first, was it hard? So far, no. Do I expect it will be? Yes. Yes, I do expect that it will be very hard a few turns in. And the reason I say that is because I've already been outflanked by an army of vampires here. I'm running low on units. Cash is going to be fairly limited. In fact, I need to recruit some units here right now. I'm going to go ahead and pull some in. I lost some bloodletters in some big fights with the greenskins. So, will it be hard? Absolutely. It will be difficult. What drives that difficulty? Well, a couple of factors are in play, I think, that drive the difficulty here. The first and obvious one is that on the legendary difficulty, there's no fallback. Right? You get the one save, unless you manually grab those saves each time and put them in a separate folder, which you can do. Then that's going to be one of the difficulties, which is if you screw up, it's over, and you're going to have to put another run at it. So that certainly makes things more challenging. I will have to drink some water every now and then during this, so be patient with me in that regard. What else would make this challenging, right? Well, obviously the number of enemies coming at you is going to be challenging. You're facing greenskins early on, and potentially like Tomb Kings and other stuff, all of which are kind of like horde factions in a way. They field huge armies, and normally that's not much of a concern up against Khorne units and Skarbrand because they are tremendously powerful in a melee. And on this difficulty setting, though, it is a challenge. It's a very real challenge. And you're going to face it here in the sense that a unit of bloodletters, which would normally just absolutely shred through most greenskin things. Now, yes, they would take some damage to Savage Orcs, because Savage Orcs do some pretty heavy damage against low armor. That said, again, all that said, the difficulty comes in the sense that this is now on legendary difficulty, or sorry, the battle difficulty is on very hard. It doesn't go up to legendary, but it's essentially the same thing. And in that battle, it means that the leadership of the enemy is not going to fall apart as easy. They're going to have higher defense. I think they still get buffed attack. I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But they definitely have higher leadership and melee defense. And what that means is that your units are going to take a lot more casualties, and it also means that Skarbrand is significantly nerfed versus what he would be on a lower difficulty setting. And I mean significantly nerfed. So he is not going to be nearly so powerful a force as he is whenever you're playing on a lower difficulty. And it's because the enemy is not going to be taking as much damage, and you are going to be taking more damage by comparison. I'm going to try and keep our bloodletting higher here, so I'm going to move down here. I'm going to use this Unholy Manifestation real quick, which... more require... Let's take Skullz, I think, to perform. Let's perform it. Alright, so we're gonna get attacked by this small army. Let's just auto-resolve it. Again, I just want to do this to keep my bloodletting up high. And then we'll just grab the skulls from it. Alright, yeah, because keeping that bloodletting up high keeps my upkeep lower. Oh, we're now not replenishing. That kind of sucks. The large vampire army over here, unfortunately, I can't reach it.
The Northmen grow restless.
Let's improve our settlement over here. So yeah, anyway, I'm trying to remember exactly where I was. Let's get back. I'm going to need to replenish here. And let's see. Devastating charge. Let's get Deadly Blade going. Yeah, so difficulty. The battles are definitely going to be difficult. If you can make it far enough in, you can probably put together an army that will be great. That said, one of the challenges that I see coming in this campaign later on, even if you build a hugely elite army, is that with the AI having all the leadership and defense buffs, and you being a faction that relies solely on melee, or at least almost entirely on melee, I think it is going to be a rough slog on this one in the long run, because honestly, melee is very, it's very underpowered in terms of like late game capability. So what I mean by that is later into a game, the armies that are the most effective are the ones that use missiles and magic, and Khorne just doesn't do that, right? That's not a thing for Khorne. And so I do think ultimately it makes Khorne potentially very weak later into this, and I do think it will make this a very challenging scenario, again, especially since you're facing off against so many greenskins here. And the greenskins are pretty darn decent in melee, and Khorne relies on a fair number of high attack, low armored demon units, which again is going to make things tricky. Now you could tank up on the more armored variety and probably do fine, like Chosen with dual weapons and stuff like that. But there's downsides to that too, namely speed, where speed is a big problem. Let's see, let's start using some skulls on this tech over here. You can see the vampires. Oh, here it is. So the in-game scenarios are finally going to take off. Here comes the Wild Hunt, the Biggest Wa, the Vermintide, the Vampiric Ascension, the Black Pyramid, a Grudge Too Far, all of them. So this is what it looks like. Look at this. We're not technically at war with the Skaven yet, but oh my gosh, look at how many greenskin armies just spawned. Oh, that's crazy. Oh my goodness. The wild. Oh, here's the dwarves. Oh my gosh, that is going to be absolutely bananas. Just look at this. Oh man, that's hilarious. That's what it looks like, folks. That's what it looks like when you get every in-game scenario. And again, will it be difficult? I don't know. Like, you might be able to just sit here. Like, if I were going to try this and I were going to go into it long run and actually try and win, one of the things that I would probably do, at least for a little while, is I would let these different factions kind of beat each other up a little, which they almost certainly will. And as long as I'm protecting like a relatively small area, I shouldn't have too much problem. I mean, I think that's the way that this would end up working. I'm just going to disband this army, actually. Or actually, I'll just... Yeah, let's just disband them. They're just costing me more upkeep than it's worth here. Let's get rid of them. I could probably pick up another couple of units of Bloodletters, and Bloodletters are pretty important units here. This armored infantry is pretty important too, because they can tank the charge. And then we definitely need Furies, because Furies are good at cleaning up. I'm going to grab one of each, actually. Furies are really good at cleaning up missiles and tying down enemy leaders or cavalry or whatever else it is. They can charge without being charged, and are thus very useful in that regard. I still haven't repaired my settlement over here, and honestly, I don't know if there's a whole ton of use in doing so. I guess I'll do it just for the heck of. But we need to get into some more battles because we need the cash. battles are going to be absolutely critical because the higher your bloodletting, the less upkeep you have, the more experience your troops get, the more powerful they become, the more money you get, the more units you can field, right? Battles are going to be absolutely everything. And I think that's going to be one of your real challenges, is just trying to constantly stay in battles in situations like this where I have to move across a marsh, I have to move across rivers, the enemy's running away from me. This is all going to work against you. The AI coming at you in some regard would actually be good. But yeah, as far as difficulty goes, I think your biggest difficulties here are going to be the lack of saves to go back to. The battle difficulty and the fact that you have no magic and missiles is going to make that a real pain in the butt. There are some army abilities, though, that are essentially magic, which can certainly help you make up for it here. I'm just going to have to push across. Go ahead and push across the river and then take out Floating Village. See how quick we're losing, and it's going to hurt our upkeep. So yeah, as far as fun, like if you wanted to play this scenario for fun and you wanted an immersion experience rather than just a max difficulty, I actually think this would be a super fun scenario if you turned the difficulty of battle down to normal. That way Khorne's forces are what they are and the other factions remain in balance, but you're still going to get an absolutely ludicrous number of enemies. And then you're still going to have the challenge of not being able to save when you want. And you're also going to have the challenge of dealing with like public order penalties at your settlements, and the fact that everybody's want to declare war on you because you're Khorne and it's on legendary difficulty. So I actually think this could be a really fun, really immersive scenario for people who want to have that Skullz for the Skull Throne experience, but maybe they also want it to kind of make sense in the sense that Skarbrand should be immensely powerful. His troops are immensely powerful. We want to see that from him, right? I'm going to destroy Floating Village here. And let's... I'm going to sack it, take the cash and replenishment. And then I should have enough movement points. Yep. To kind of stay on the move here, which is what we needed. But yeah, see, that's how you're going to have to make money and stay alive. So yeah, that's really all there is to it. Change the difficulty setting on battles down to normal, and then I think you have a really fun scenario here, because you're going to have an insane number of enemies, a lot of fighting, a lot of really straightforward good time in Total War. Hopefully this was helpful to you all, just to kind of show you what this scenario is. Is it something you want to play? If you have played it, go down in the comments. Tell me about how your experience was with it. Did you enjoy it? And then, of course, if any of you had like a fun save file with it or something that you think would be fun for me to show, I mean, you can send me the save file if you go over to the Discord. And we have a Warhammer replays thread in my Discord. The link is down in the description of the Discord. It's free to join. Fun community there. But yeah, you could post it there if you want to, or just tell us about it down in the comments. Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I will see you all soon with some more content in Total War Warhammer 3.